everyone, let's relax, have a glass. I'm actually drinking a cup of water today because it is a hot day. And let's talk about ways to increase your chances of saving your boat in a hurricane while at the dock. Ideally, the best choice you can make is to move your boat and sail away from the hurricane's path. So one thing you have to remember is that the center of the hurricane is 200 miles per hour and sometimes even more. But the further you get from the eye, the weaker the wind. And so you don't really need much. You only need to sail 50 or 100 miles away to get much weaker wind. But here's the thing with those storms, you know where it's going a week in advance. So you have plenty of time to just sail out of the way and make sure your boat is safe. One great example is our friends Mike and his wife Ola. I'm sure you remember Mike. Last year they were in St. Croix when Hurricane Maria was approaching. A few days before she hit, they left St. Croix, sailed away for a couple days, and then sailed straight to Curacao when we met up with them. Insurance companies refer to something called the hurricane belt. But thinking that you're safe just because you're outside of that belt isn't necessarily true. You should always be prepared to move out of the way if something is coming. Basically, anywhere between Cape Verde and Ireland can get hit any time of the month. It's just more likely that it get hit between August and November. Last year, we made sure we were south of the Caribbean islands before September, knowing full well that if something was to come our way, even if we're south of that belt, we will have plenty of time to just move out of the way. You can also stay near a good hurricane hole for the season, such as Rio Dulce in Guatemala, or in the Caribbean you have Cuba and Haiti that have really good holes. And for Cuba and Haiti, what makes them good is not just because they're surrounded by mountains, but also because the protected bays that they have, most likely you'll be one of the only boats there, so you don't have to worry about other boats crashing into you. 2 years ago, Dan ended up preparing Uma for Hurricane Matthew, which was a Category 5 hurricane. We were in Haiti, and unfortunately I wasn't able to stay and help. That was right about when my mom was in the hospital, so I had to fly and stay with her. He was able to prepare the boat by himself. And if you want to know more about that situation and how to prepare your boat at anchor in a good protected bay, Dan has some really good tips when he did it, so you can click on the link here in the info bar, or I'll leave the link in the description below. But this year we're going to do something completely different because sometimes it just happens that you cannot move your boat. Whether it's because you're on the hard or your boat isn't ready to get out on the ocean just yet. And if that's the case, there are other ways you can prepare your boat to increase the chances of its survival. Now, preparing a boat for a hurricane can sound very daunting, especially if you're short or small like me. But even if you don't have the muscles, there are other techniques to get things done. So, as Ladies Night Special, I'm going to practice those techniques and prepare Uma by myself and share my experiences with you. So the key is to find a dock or a mangrove as far inland as possible, up a river or a canal or someplace that won't be really affected by storm surge. Once you're there, it's a matter of preparing your boat as best as you can. The first thing we want to do in terms of preparing it is reduce windage. Basically is remove everything that might come loose or everything that might fly off. And the first thing I'm going to do is take that dinghy off our bow.
She said, let's jump on the bus and take a ride downtown. Well, I don't know about that, but can you help me first to get these boxes down? Well, I don't know about that. We have the whole day now just to ourselves.
Okay, so the dinghy is off the boat. Now, our dinghy is an ultralight dinghy, so it's not very heavy. So technically, I could probably just hoist it up by hand without needing to grind it, but I only realized that after it was already up in the air that I didn't really need to grind it up. So now the next thing I'm going to do is pull the Jenny out.
Cause it's my lazy day, just wanna lazy away. Ain't gonna do a thing for the rest of the day. You can try to seduce me, make me wanna play. I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Fun fact, this Jenny weighs about the same as I do. So sometimes you just have to find clever ways to get things done. The next thing to do is to take care of that mainsail. Let's go closer. Ideally, I would take the mainsail off and flick it just like the Jenny. And this mainsail is lighter and smaller than a Genoa, so I know I can handle it by myself. But another alternative, if you have a bigger boat or if you have a big catamaran and the mainsail is just way too heavy and way too big, and it can be not only inconvenient to put it down by yourself, but it could be also very dangerous. Another way to do it is to just lash it down with some rope, and so this is what we're going to do today. The method is actually pretty simple. Dan taught me a while ago, and all you have to do is, well, I'm going to clip this at the end of the boom as if it's the spinnaker, and all you do is go. It's going to be very interesting because I'm a little short. You go over, under, and then you pull it tight, and you do it again. Over, under. I'm just gonna keep going, and that's gonna be very interesting because I can't reach stuff. But again, when there's a will, Kika has a way.
Let's call some friends over for a game of poker or so. Well, I don't know about that. Or should I turn on the TV or the radio? Well, I don't know about that.
That is it. Look at how pretty it is. Beautiful. So something you have to consider is how tight you make the line. You have to make sure that it's as tight as you possibly can make it, and also that those two sections of the line are always perpendicular, because that will prevent it from slacking down, and then that will prevent you from losing your shit. But yeah, this is pretty much it. And you want to have a continuous line from the end of the boom all the way down to the mast. Okay, now that the mainsail is lashed down, what is next to do is to secure the aft end of the boom. And the easiest way to do that is to bring the traveler on one side of the boat and to tie another rope on the other side, and that will create a triangle which will prevent it from swinging back and forth. Alright, now the next thing to do is take care of the dodger. As I said, the less windage, the better. That we could technically remove are the solar panels, and 2 years ago for the Hurricane Matthew, Dan took them down and strapped it up on deck. But this year, because we don't really know if something's going to hit us, and we already know that 70 miles per hour wind, they just stay fine, we're going to leave them for now. And if there is something that is going to hit us directly, then we probably will take it down and strap them up on deck again. So after that, that's pretty much it in terms of windage. We remove the dinghy, remove the sails. You can either take the mainsail down or lash it down like we did. But now it's a matter of make sure that the boat doesn't hit it. Like the dock or other boats, and also flying debris can also cause a lot of damage. And for that, you need extra fenders. And if your fenders look anything like ours, it probably is time to replace them. Another important point is protecting from chafing. I would suggest not using halyards. Get stretchy lines so that if you have like a solid tug, it's not going to snap off. And make sure you have extra dart lines so that when the time is right, you can cross some lines across the canal and keep the boat off the dock. Now, I will not demonstrate this because it's a pretty busy canal where we are, and it wouldn't make sense to just block it off. But once you know that everybody is staying in and preparing their boat, then you can use your dinghy before you stow it away. You use your dinghy to go across the canal and tie those lines off. Check your bilge. Make sure it's clean, and make sure that the auto function on your pump is on, and make sure the pump works, because when you have 100 mile per hour wind and rain coming in, it will find a way into your boat. So you want to make sure that you always drain that water out. I know this list is getting very, very long, but I feel like there are important points that you should definitely consider. Another point to consider is making sure your batteries are fully charged, because like I said, water will find its way into your boat with all that rain, and you want to make sure that the bilge pump has enough power to run and pump all that water out without draining the batteries. So charge all your batteries, and also make sure you unplug your boat before the storms, and that will be one less hazard to worry about. Alright, I I think that's pretty much it in terms of preparing your own boat the best you can. And once that's done, it's okay to be a bit of a narcissistic neighbor. And by that, I mean go around and make sure that the boats near you are also secure and prepped, because guess what? Another boat bumping into your boat is as bad as your boat bumping into theirs. So being a good neighbor can definitely save your boat. Another tip is to also have some extra dock lines in case other people might want it. And also keep an eye out for loose patio furniture or dead trees or anything that's not secured and can fly into your boat. And while you're at it, just move them somewhere safe too. Another good point, yes, I'm not quite yet done, is floods. Because guess what? A big storm usually comes with a big storm surge. Even if you're further up the canal, water can still increase up to 10 to 15 feet. So if you keep your lines slack, that will give room for your boat to breathe and to kind of raise up with that water. So that's something to really think about. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention to the weather and keep a close eye on that storm as it moves closer. A few sources that we follow are Windy. I'm sure you guys know about that app and that website. I personally love it. It's just so beautiful to watch, and it's surprisingly very accurate information too. Another thing that we follow very well is called Tropical Tidbits. It's a YouTube channel, and what I like about him is that he's very straight to the point and explain it in a non-overwhelming way, and it's very easy to understand when he explains it. And also the Hurricane Tracker app, that's a really good information, and I'll leave all the links of everything I talk about. If there's a link to it, I'll leave it in the description below. And that's pretty much it. Honestly, it took me about 4 hours to get everything ready on Uma, and it wasn't really that hard. The hardest part for me was definitely the Genoa, but once that was done, everything else was just a matter of doing it. So, and I'm not the strongest female, so there's really no excuse to getting shit done. So let me know if you enjoyed this video, and please, if there's anything in the video that you would like me to cover separately, feel free to let me know in the comments below, and make sure to give it a very big thumbs up. And don't forget to, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! Oh my, that was long!
'Cause it's my